Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to a YouTube live stream. I wondered, did you miss me? I've been gone for a week, gone to the YouTube gulag, but back again to be with you. So first of all, can I thank you very much for being with us this evening. It's essentially just yours truly you've got tonight. So I hope we can cover some ground. Before we get into the details of this one, just the usual stuff, folks. If you're watching this, the few of you who watch this on Facebook, share and like it. If you're on YouTube, share, subscribe. Very important, you share, subscribe. Make sure the notifications bell is switched on, because that's important. And then the other thing is, all my other social media channels are down below. Now, this is actually quite important, given experiences recently. So I just want to make sure, as you can see here, you can follow me on Rumble, on Odyssey, and on BitChute, on all of in the links below. It's easy enough to do that. You just have to click. So if you do that, that'll be fine. The one I really want you to subscribe to is Odyssey. We've brought it up on the screen here. Go to the Odyssey link, hit subscribe now. Do it. I'm telling you to do it, because on Odyssey, I can speak freely. I'm afraid on YouTube, it is now very difficult to speak freely. And by the way, thanks, Chris and the gang, those of you who have already subscribed on YouTube. If you like what you're saying, however, here on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. The algorithms like the thumbs up. So make sure you do that. And I appreciate that. And then don't forget altnewsmedia.net/donate, which pays for the whole shebang. That would be good. And I think that's pretty much, that's it. That's the mantra. So we're going to get into stuff in a second. But yeah, just to reiterate, Odyssey, I can see Chris has joined in Odyssey, and Sparky's joined in Odyssey. I need Donny Girl, I need all of you, Aussie, all of you to make sure you go to Odyssey and subscribe. Ian, go to Odyssey and hit the subscription button. It just means you'll get content even from me that I can't put out here any longer. It's just not possible. So if you value free speech and discussions on lots of interesting topics, not some of those are not appropriate for YouTube in 2021. Bit sad, really, but there you go. That's how it is, folks. So do make sure that you do that there. And I'll be checking to see on Odyssey who's subscribed and who hasn't. So anyway, yeah, guys. So good to see you all here. Thanks for coming along to this one. And yeah, these are the channels really you need to get on board with me on my BitChute, on my Odyssey, and on my Rumble. There's also another one called Brand YouTube, which has got the most fantastic numbers of interaction. So Brand YouTube as well, and it's, I think, the David Vance channel on Brand YouTube. So since I spoke with you last, I've diversified across the known digital universe, right? But anyway, and also, by the way, can I also say, I hope everyone had a nice Easter, and I know I can see some of you have been on holidays, so hope you've enjoyed the short break. So, okay, let's cut to the politics, shall we? Because that's what you're here for. Oh yeah, pointed out, if you want your message noticed, you have to hit the super chat button, which YouTube can't take away from me, actually. So if you want to hit that, that's good. Boris, we got to talk about Boris, haven't we? Even here in YouTube, we got to talk about Boris and today's political announcements. Now, I want to bring up, where do you go to get an understanding of what's happening? Well, where you shouldn't go is anywhere in the mainstream press, because the mainstream press is garbage. It's pigswill, right? It's a propagandist outlet for essentially government. But the one that in some ways I like to go to and look at and laugh at the most is The Guardian. So I wanted to share with you The Guardian's coverage of Boris's easing of lockdown next week. Because yes, the ubiquitous Scarecrow was giving a press conference earlier on, surrounded by his henchmen. And I just wanted to chat through this with you. So if we just scroll down a bit, I mean, it's really much ado about nothing, but we shall nonetheless talk much ado about nothing. So the PM says pubs, hairdressers, shops and gyms can open, but resumption of foreign travel remains in doubt. Oh, what a surprise. Imagine that. I thought that was a guarantee. I wondered, was there anyone so stupid as to think that the foreign travel would recommence when Boris said? Did anyone think that? Just like, did anyone think when Boris told you that the vaccine would get you out of this, did you actually think that? When he told you, well, okay, it might have to be a second vaccine, you didn't actually think that, did you? And now you realize it's a vaccine passport that's going to get you out of it. And do you think that? But anyway, let's scroll down a little bit here if we can through this article. If we can just get this going. Hang on a second, folks. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, okay. For extra comedy effect, life will start returning to some semblance of normality. Do you get that? Some semblance of normality. That's the best he can do. Boris has pledged to give the green light for pubs, shops, hairdressers and gyms to reopen. Actually, to be fair enough to Boris, the Scarecrow, here in Northern Ireland, they haven't even done that. We have no plan. There's no hope. There's no nothing. Thanks to our devolved assembly. It's brilliant. I love devolved assemblies. The Prime Minister was on to say that moving to the next stage of the government's roadmap was fully justified by the success of the vaccine rollout and the drop in cases and hospitalizations. Well, of course, he can't deny all of those things. By the way, lots of those things happened last May and June when there was no vaccine. That's strange, isn't it? It's almost as if respiratory diseases have peaks and troughs. Boris goes on to say, though, and you can see it here, very, very important. He goes on to say that in the article, this is again made me make a wry smile comes to mind. If I can get you this up here, there we go. Look, he said, COVID status certificates and mass weekly testing could be a key to further restrictions being eased. Do you see how you're being played? Can you see that one? Yeah. So yeah, this is Boris's new wheeze. So he's obviously faced a bit of a rebellion on the vaccine passport business. And so in actual fact, although I think it's probably been pre-gamed and they're playing it out in a particular way. So what they're really trying to do, my interpretation of this is that the government wants younger people in particular to get their vaccines. That's what they want. And so this age group is certainly vaccine hesitant, and the government knows that. So what the government's done is, I'm sure you've seen the list of things that will be allowed with the vaccine passport and things that won't. So initially, the government's saying, well, restaurants, you mightn't need one for. Pubs, you mightn't initially need one for. So those kind of things. Whereas if you want to go to a nightclub, if you want to go to cinema, if you want to go to a concert, yeah, you got to have them for the sporting event. You need it for those things. And the government knows that the demographic that does that is young people. So this is a nice way to coerce young people into taking the vaccine. That's what it's all about. Now, whether or not Johnson gets the vaccine in or not, I don't know. So then I wanted to go on into the next bit. Let's talk about the next paragraph of fun. Hopes that foreign holidays may be allowed from 17th of May were dampened. Oh, what a surprise. As Boris said, he did not wish to give hostages to fortune. I don't know about that. You've kept us hostages for a year, Boris. You're pretty good at hostage taking. And he was nervous about the virus being reimported. Well, this is because, I don't have it here on the screen to share with you, but this is because Professor Doom himself, Professor Neil Ferguson, remember him? The guy whose track record in predicting things has been atrocious. And he for a short period of time, do you remember when he was shamed when during lockdown it was discovered he and his mistress weren't exactly following lockdown? But hey, there you go. That's been forgotten, scrubbed down the memory hole, never happened. Professor Ferguson has gone on record, I think in the past day, to tell us that, sorry folks, just I'm multitasking, as you can tell, I'm brilliant at it. um, on the Ferguson said that there's a real danger if people go abroad, especially to Europe, that could bring the awful plague back with them. And so it is on that basis that I think you're going to find your summer holidays are going to be much more curtailed than you think. However, the lucky thing is there's certain places you can go. Apparently Dubai is a good spot to go to. Gibraltar is a good spot. The USA is a good spot as well, apparently. He's got his list. Yeah, Chris Davis is right. Professor Panstown. That's the guy. That's the chap. The eminent professor who guides so much of government thinking. Professor Panstown. What a world. I mean, we do live, I've just accepted we live in clown world by this point. Donny Girl, I'm not sure if you can share photographs or not. I'll ask my producer, Jed, to talk to you and find out if there's a way you can you can share photographs. I'm just reading your comment. I'll bring it up. I'll bring the car. I can't bring the photo. Too bad I can't share photos. We went to the beach on Saturday. There was a man with a T-shirt that said "Vaccines for Children" and wore a mask walking by the water. So yeah, it's all madness. It's all clown world. But I just wanted to go on a little bit more here. Yes. Now here's the punchline. Here's the bit we need to get to. So before the press conference, scientists from SAGE, which is basically running the country now, have said that outdoor service in pubs and restaurants was highly unlikely to overwhelm the NHS. What? Highly unlikely? How about impossible? I would have thought statistically impossible. From all the statistics, we know that the NHS is currently way below capacity. We know that the viral load is way low. So how on earth would it? How on earth would people sitting outdoors in a pub garden, probably with masks on, I don't know, but socially distant anyway, and no more than two households or whatever? I mean, how is that going to overwhelm the NHS? But this is the key bit, actually. The bit I've highlighted here. That's what you need to focus on. But they warned that further easing in May and beyond could unleash a third UK wave as deadly as the one during the winter, when more than half of the country's total number of COVID deaths occurred. Yeah. So what do you think of that one then? There's a warning from these SAGE guys. And then some more doom and gloom. Work by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, based on pessimistic but realistic assumptions about the effectiveness of the vaccine, forecast a third wave that would peak at the end of July or early August. Now, let's come out of this. I've had enough. So, okay. All right. So you get this one. Can you see? Yeah, Chris Davis, you're right. Oh, hi, Matt. Matt Toomer on the stream. Good to see you, Matt. Jer, all you guys who have joined recently, make sure you're following me on Odyssey. The link's down below. Go to Odyssey, click the subscribe. Yeah, so they're setting everyone up. You can see this a mile off, can't you? Whenever I think the government is in a position where it has to have at least an impression of opening up. But it's tying that into vaccine passports, obviously. It wants us all to have a vaccine passport. And of course, the vaccine passport means that, you've got to have had the vaccine. A lot of people haven't had it still, especially in the BAME community. Or you have to have had an antibody test, or you have to have had coronavirus. So there's a fourth group which is never mentioned. What about people who are perfectly healthy, who've never had it and feel perfectly healthy, have no symptoms? What about those? Oh, my God, those people are too dangerous. They're walking germ bombs. It's amusing what the government's trying to do. They're going to make sure you don't get a summer holiday. Don't fool yourself into thinking that this is all going to be okay. It's not. But of course, the serious issue is the surrounds COVID passports. It's strange because on this one, we have lots of political parties in the UK who say, listen, it's absolutely wrong to have an ID to vote. But if you want to go to the pub, you're going to have an ID. Hi, Rob Hudson, by the way. Rob says it's folks on their own in cars that make me hoot. Stop licking the windows. Hey, Rob, don't forget, follow me on my Odyssey link if you want to get the full unexpurgated commentary, not the milky toast YouTube version of it. So yeah, the summer holidays aren't going to be happening. You know, I hate to break it to you. There's several things that annoy me, so I may as well tell you the things that annoy me and see if they annoy you. Jim Mooney's right, by the way. It's not a passport; it's an identity ID. It's more than that again, Jim. It's complete control. It's your freedom being taken from you. It is your passport to captivity, to enslavement. But I'll tell you what. Yeah, Harry Johnson makes a point. What about an ID for voting? Exactly, Harry. I mean, this is hypocrisy of the left. A couple of days ago, you may have heard Sir Keir Starmer, he who leads the Labour Party, he said he thought that vaccine passports were fundamentally un-British. I now read in the press today, can you guess? He's thinking of supporting ID passports. And this is how it is, folks. The Conservative Party, the Labour Party, there's no difference between them. They all have absolute commitment to the project, and they all have absolute contempt for you if you do not submit to their will. Lots of people do submit to their will, by the way. One of the things I noticed, I don't know, those of you on, hi Craig, by the way, Craig Roberts, make sure you're following me on my Odyssey channel, link below. Everyone has to follow me on the Odyssey channel. But by the way, I will hopefully be able to live stream from Odyssey very shortly as well. So just so that what happened in the past week will never happen again, that's why I need you to do this one. By the by. So yeah, on social media, have you noticed so-called libertarians? I can think of one in particular who have been vigorous in saying, look, you know, all you guys, just, you know, all you hysterical sort of bedwetters worrying about vaccine passports, they haven't been made mandatory. Vaccines haven't been made mandatory. You can go to the pub, everything's good, relax. I mean, that's not libertarians. Or if they may call themselves libertarians, what they are is they are clowns of the highest order. You know, coercion takes many forms. The government cannot make some of these things compulsory, but it can coerce. It can, as it is going to do actually, it's going to use business to try and implement its strategy of forcing us into vaccine passports. I mean, can I do a quick poll just while I'm on the stream here, folks? Anyone, hands up, anyone who intends to get a vaccine passport. Let's be seeing from you if you do, and if you don't, thumbs down if you're not going to have one. Thumbs up if you're going to have one. Yeah, Lily Libertarians, Rob Hudson, 100% right. And there's quite a few of them I notice on particular social media channels. And Legacy 18, I'll bring up this comment here actually. Yeah, lots of nope. Yeah, Chris Davis has given about a dozen thumbs down. Top man, Chris. Simon, yeah, Edward, I see you all. Yeah. Now, by the way, Simon Knight, Edward, make sure you subscribe to my Odyssey channel. I'll be checking the numbers at the end of this. Matt Toomer, yeah, all you guys. Well, you see, what this demonstrates is that the people on my stream have the best common sense of ever. You guys are the best. That's why I come back here. Yeah, look at you. Oh, brilliant. You know, but of course, you are Donny Girl, even in Hawaii. And I guess, in the States, I think actually, Donny Girl, there will be more opposition to this than in the UK. Well, of course, Jim Mooney says coercion is illegal. Well, you're right, Jim. You're absolutely right. But they will try to do it. They're going to try to. Now, I'm glad to see people like, for example, I think the British cinema body or whatever said that they would not coerce people by seeking to have them provide a form of proof of vaccine passport. So there are some hopeful signs, you know. And obviously, you see, think about it strategically what the government's done. They have starved pubs, restaurants. They have starved you and me of the chance to go out and have a drink, have a pint, have a meal, whatever it is, socialize with friends, have a good time. They've starved us of that for a year, and that's been deliberate. The more they keep us hungry, then the higher the price they think we will pay to get back. And they have a point. I mean, I see it all the time. I see it on Twitter. I see people over there, thinking, yeah, what could be more harmless? I'm going to have a pint. What's the problem? Little jab. Chris Davis makes a good point here. Has anyone heard from? Yeah, brilliant, Chris. This is what you guys are just the best. I mean, I forget about half of these things in my declining years. Has anyone heard from Baroness Shami Chakraborty, the great libertarian? Well, Chris, you may well ask. In fact, where are all these great libertarians now? Where are they all? I'll tell you where they are. They're hiding. Well, they're doing different things. I believe some of them, Chris, are on the payroll one way or the other. Ian makes a point. I'll bring this one up. Look at Netanyahu. Oh, that's a whole, Ian, that's a whole stream. I would like to do that stream. I might save that one to do it if I can on Odyssey. But I think it would be very difficult to do it here. But Maureen Brown says, I can't find thumbs down. Well, Maureen, don't worry. We'll take your word that you're 100% not going to have it. I mean, like, again, the great points, so many good points coming. I'm going to bring these up. Pete says, oh, by the way, make sure you give the follow on my Odyssey channel. Exactly, Dave. The large majority of people could job to go on holidays. LOL. You're right, Pete. You're right. The people, but look, let's be kind about this. People are desperate. They want normality. They crave, and I'm sure you all do. I do. I want to go out, to have a nice meal with friends. I like to meet people for a drink in the pub. I'd like to do all those things, but not at the price of sacrificing, my body autonomy. I'm not prepared to do that. And I have to be careful the way I phrase this because this is YouTube, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying to you. I don't want it that much, and I won't do it. But whether or not, the likes of, hang on, Ian, here is a question or answer. Chakraborty has apparently come out against the vaccine, sir. Well, there you go, strange bedfellows. And Oben1, oh, by the way, Oben1, make sure you're following me on my Odyssey if you want to get much more lively stuff, let's say, more spicy stuff than we can serve you up here on YouTube. But so the government is basically playing this game with people, and they're playing it really well. But they wouldn't succeed if it wasn't for the media. And when I say the media here in the UK, and I'm sure it's the same in the States, Donny girl, I mean, the TV, the press, the radio, they combine. And if you expose yourself to them, then you will fall under the you'll fall under the spell. You'll lose you will lose your you will lose your way. You'll be convinced that just one more thing, one more push, and it'll be okay. It won't, of course, in my opinion. Simon says, can we have a link to it sometimes, David? So I think if we can bring up a link to the Odyssey channel for Simon, that would be really good if we're able to do that for everyone else. Big reminder. There you go, folks, on the screen. Who says we can't work magic here? Look at that. That's where you have to go. Go to Odyssey and subscribe. I need that number to become bigger and bigger and bigger. Look at that. You'll see content there, folks, that is not available here. And it's good content, by the way, but it's available there, not here. Now, there's an interesting one I hadn't seen, actually. So you can see that, folks. Hope that's all clear. Michelle Heaton, her husband and kids had the vaccine, and 4 weeks after that, they all tested positive for COVID. Well, of course, this is the problem, Jared, because the vaccine manufacturers do not state that taking the vaccine will give you immunity from either being infected or from passing the virus on. They don't say that. The media may suggest that or imply that, but it's very, very clear what the the vaccine manufacturers are saying. They're not saying this. That's why actually people who Jeremy, I've heard of other instances of people. I know of a doctor who had the vaccine, and then he had the virus. Graham, you're very welcome on the stream, by the way. Graham Lees, good to see you. All you guys, Edward and all, Pete, do make sure you subscribe to that Odyssey channel. You need to do that because I fear that YouTube doesn't really want voices like mine, particularly on it. I know I'm a small fry on YouTube, but you get the impression. Just make sure you subscribe to the Odyssey one. Yes, Dr. Shillery Jones, Edward says, people are getting paid up to 70 grand indoors. I have no idea if that's the case or not, but anything's possible in this clown world. We have. So it's just interesting for me. I suppose in the final analysis, I've been consistent throughout all of this. Really, when it became apparent that things were not quite right, I think in retrospect, I like probably everybody on this stream, I did stay indoors and followed government regulations fully for the first 3 weeks. 3 weeks to flatten the curve. But you know something? Because we all did that, 3 weeks became 52 weeks. That's how it works. Now, here's another quick, I'm doing an advertising session here tonight, but can we just bring up, I do mention Alt News Media a lot, by the way, and we have actually given Alt News Media a bit of a makeover. So here's the Alt News Media site now. And if you go there, you can find articles, you can find videos, you can find lots of other content as well. It's all there. There's an article on someone whose name we cannot even mention on YouTube. But there's lots of good stuff over there. So do make sure you hit the subscribe button over in Alt News Media. It doesn't cost you anything. And as it says, help us defeat the fake news media by supporting us. So we're doing our best. We're doing our best to counter all the misinformation, all the medical misinformation sometimes that we read in legacy media. All those suggestions that getting 2 vaccines gives you full immunity, when of course the manufacturers make it clear that that is not by any means a guarantee. So thanks, Oban1, for the kind comments. I appreciate that there. And thanks for all the people who are on the stream, by the way. This has turned into a lively night, so I'll keep going. But so I wonder, does anyone actually think, by the way, do you think the government, whenever they tell us that, oh, look, just one more step, April the 12th, Boris is going down the pub. Boris is going to the pub on April the 12th. I'd like to know what pub he's going to, wouldn't you? April, because he's a man of the people. Boris, man of the people. He's going to have a pint. He's going down the pub. He's going to have a pint. Come on. Who in the right mind would believe any of this nonsense? It will be at best a staged photo opportunity. That's what it will be. Boris going to the pub. Do me. But this is how efficient the government's propaganda line is. They're trying to get all the normies to think that Boris, he's a guy that, Rob Hudson, top comment, here we go. I hope they refuse him service. So do I, Rob. So do I. And yes, Simon, you're absolutely right. But April the 12th, forget that. This is a big non-event. And by the way, again, all those shills out there, the libertarian shills out there who were saying, oh, pubs are open, you're going to have a pint. Yeah, it's outdoors. Listen, outdoors today, before I came on air here, there was like light snow outside. Now, it was about 3 degrees. Who is going to sit outside in the rain, in the sleet, or the snow, freezing to death, having a pint on April the 12th? This is crap. This is absolute. No, it's a non-compromise. Yes, Craig, they're trying to make us feel grateful because they've taken away so much, and they're going to give us a little bit of it back. But in order to give that little bit back, for example, when you go to the pub or the restaurant, on the assumption that they won't have been able to force through the vaccine passports at that point, you will be required to have, I believe, the NHS track and trace app. Does anybody use that? Or you have to provide your full legitimate details. And I must warn you, make sure you give your proper name and your proper address and your proper phone number. Anything else would be wrong. Now, I'm sure I've made my point. Anyway, so yeah, they're giving us back a tiny little bit, and yet they've taken so much from us. Jim Mooney asked me, why has Northern Ireland not given any dates? Oh, I can explain that, Jim. Very simple. Because we must have the most useless, inept, dysfunctional, dystopian, devolved government there's ever been in the history of mankind. I think that's why. That's possibly the reason. And you know, we have got a health minister in the format of renowned sheep farmer Robin Swan, who he's a deep thinker. He's a really deep thinker, isn't he? Of course, they can't agree amongst each other. That's why, Jim. This is Northern Ireland's a lost cause, absolute lost cause. We're being battered by Irish sea borders. We're being battered by the consequences of dopey devolution. Those things are not a good combination. Yeah, and there's a really great comment, by the way, coming in from Dawson Chance. He says, COVID's greatest casualty should have been the NHS. It failed the nation bigly. Yeah, well, you're right. We bankrupted ourselves to save the Marxist scam. I agree with you, Dawson, 100%. Oh, sorry. I think I misspoke. I've been told that the Northern Ireland Health Minister is not a sheep farmer. He's a pig farmer. Yeah, seriously, clown world. It's all clown world. There's little point in taking this seriously. But Dawson makes a good point. The NHS has been a spectacular failure throughout this, and it's let down so many people. And there's so many sad stories. People dying alone at home because they didn't want to go and take advantage, or rather waste valuable NHS resource. Well, listen, that was never a problem. The NHS had time to do TikTok dances. Let's be clear in this. The NHS at no point, I believe, as a matter of empirical evidence, was overwhelmed. Did you see that all the NHS hospitals, which were trotted out yet again, all closed it down again without, I believe, treating anybody? It's all just a circus. And unfortunately, in the UK, and I know not everyone shares my beliefs, and that's fine, by the way. My religious beliefs. I call myself a poor Christian, very bad Christian, but I nonetheless do have Christian views on things. The NHS has replaced Christianity in the UK. The NHS has become the British religion, and look where that has got us. Look where that, exactly, TikTok time. Oh, we're so busy. But meanwhile, Chris Davis, people have died, sadly, of various illnesses at home because they didn't want to go in. And even now, let's be clear on this, that there is a tidal wave of cancer deaths and cardio deaths and other serious deaths, which will come along. But those diseases can take, a year, 2 years or whatever to fully manifest themselves and for the mortality to be impacted by them. So there's all of those things to be considering when it comes to the NHS. Personally, I feel that the NHS, it is a sacred cow, Chris Davis, but it's failed us in so many ways. The price has been too high, and then actually other things. GPs have failed us. I mean, the last time I seen a doctor was God knows how long ago now. Well, certainly an NHS doctor. You want to see a doctor, pay to go privately, which is okay, by the way. That's okay. I have no issues with that at all. I object to paying for the NHS when I can't get to use it. That's what I object to. And Jim Mooney's right, by the way. I absolutely agree, Jim, that doctors are being paid to stay silent. So, it's a real mess of a situation we're in. And Craig Roberts makes the blooming good point that of course, we saw back in December, the majority of COVID infections were caught in NHS hospitals, which would make the NHS a super spreader, which would make the NHS liable. Well, I think the NHS's annual budget for legal cases taken against it, I think it's around about 5 billion. Yeah, you heard that right. 5 billion a year. It's around 4 to 5 billion on legal, on protecting itself from various cases taken against it. I understand, like, being a doctor is not easy. I get that. I fully understand that. But they haven't. They have not covered themselves in glory, and the NHS has not covered itself in glory. And you know, I guess Boris can no longer. He's still trying to use this. We've got to protect the NHS before we protect the people. Sorry, folks, that's not how it should work. You should protect the people, not the NHS. And the way you protect the people, in my view, is you let people get on with their lives. We have vaccinated the vulnerable. Pretty much 99% of them, I believe, have been protected. I'm sure that that's a fair comment. So if we've protected the vulnerable, why are we still being locked down? Why can't we do so many things? Why, for example, can people not leave this country? If we're vaccinated and we're vulnerable, and I mean, why would you be vaccinated if you're not vulnerable? I don't understand that. But some people think they have to have the vaccine to get their holiday, so that's why they have the vaccine. But now they've had their vaccine, it doesn't really matter because they can't go because it's too dangerous. The continent is awash with COVID. The curious thing about that one, by the way, is the form of the virus that is infecting Europe is the Kent version, the British variant of the COVID-19, which came from Britain. But Boris thinks if we go to Britain, to Europe, we might get the British version and bring it back to Britain. Yeah, honestly, the clown world, absolute clown world. So, you know, and the thing is, nobody in the media questions this. None of them are questioning this. Oh, I agree, Pete. The UK Digital Identity and Attributes Trust Framework. Isn't it interesting, by the way, that I'll come on to the next comment in a second. I do want to talk about that. Lots of comments for me to pick up on. The government apparently were planning for vaccine passports last autumn when they told us there was no way they would be planning for vaccine passports. Always remember, whatever the government says, the opposite is ordinarily true. Nick says, have you seen the video of the Canadian pastor who told the 6 officers to leave his church, calling them Nazis? Yeah, I did, Nick. It was one of the best videos I've seen in a long time. I think I actually, I did put it up on a video I put out somewhere. So I did do that. I saw that. That was great. I would compare, by the way, Nick, the response of that. Oh, I think we got the video. I think we're trying to find it for you. Oh, hang on a second. So much stuff comes in here. Yeah. So what was I going to say? Yeah, as a matter of fact, just by the definition, though, most COVID infections were picked up in NHS hospitals in December. That's just a fact. I don't think anyone can question that. Observable data. But anyway, no, I was going to say, did you see what did you think of the comments, the response of that Canadian pastor to that of the pastor in the church in Balham, in I think it's London, where the police came in and told them on Good Friday to get out. Chris Davis says, am I on Telegram? Yes, Chris, I'm on Telegram as well. You can find me in Telegram. I'm not very active. I haven't worked out how Telegram works, by the way. If someone can explain to me in a simple version how Telegram works, I'd be deeply indebted. I have figured out how Odyssey works, so I have figured out how Rumble works. I have figured out how BitChute works. I have figured out these things. So I'll get round, Chris, to understanding Telegram in due course. But yeah, I thought it was sad that in the British example, when the police came in to throw them out of their worship on Good Friday, well, they complied. The response of the pastor was very different to that of the pastor in Canada. Also, I understand, by the way, the pastor in Canada has subsequently been arrested. I heard that. Not sure if that's right or not, but yeah. I think we, sorry, again, multitasking. Better, yeah. So, yeah, we just comply, and therefore, because we comply, things get worse. Things get worse. Just trying to read any of your, just picking up on your final comments here. Yeah, Simon says China locked down for 16 days. That worked out okay. It seemed to, Simon. We've locked down for a year and it's still too dangerous. But that's it. But as I say, there's lots of stuff to talk about beyond COVID. I have to say, COVID it's kind of dominant in the news agenda. It's not the only news agenda. I mean, there's lots of things we could talk about. We could talk about Hunter Biden. Did you see the news today that Hunter Biden has decided that he was sniffing Parmesan cheese whilst in pursuance of was it cocaine or something? So one other illegal narcotic. See that? And he did an interview about that actually. So I'm just going to actually put up a little thumbnail if we can of. I did mention a video. And there we go. Christians persecuted by the police in Britain on Good Friday. There we go. Another good reason to follow me on Odyssey. That's where you'll see me talk about the stuff we can't talk about here. So, yeah, that's where we are in that one, folks. But yeah, Hunter Biden, good old Hunter, a guy who, by the way, Joe Biden said he was the smartest person he'd ever met. A guy who cannot apparently distinguish between Parmesan cheese and illegal narcotics. Clown world. Anyway, look, yeah, Kim, you're absolutely right. The Canadian pastor did what Jesus did in the temple. Yeah, I agree. And by the way, I mean, we need to maybe talk about the British royal family. I am increasingly of a view that maybe it's outlived its usefulness because it has become just another propaganda arm of the project, with Prince William joining his father, Prince Charles, in the pursuance of something that we don't want. So I'm very yes. Jim Mooney's right. Hunter is the most intelligent man his dad has ever known. By the same token, oh yeah, Neil Duffy mentions the fact that I'll bring this one up. Actually, here's a good one. Pastor Rodney Howard Brown got arrested in Tampa. Actually, Neil, Pastor Rodney has been on my channel a couple of times. Great guy. Hope to have him back. Very brave and courageous pastor. I only wish there were more like him. Well, William Ferguson's on the stream here. William isn't happy about the Canadian pastor. Yeah, William, look, that's fine. That's your point of view. You're welcome to your point of view. But I do agree actually with Chris here. Chris says, once the Queen is gone, the monarchy is finished. And you know, Chris, I find myself saying things these days that not that long ago I would have thought inconceivable. But I agree with you. I agree. I think the monarchy is I see it as a relic. I also think, by the way, politics has been completely changed in the past 12 months. I'm sure you'd agree. And I'm not talking just about the outcome of the US presidential election and the consequences of that. I'm talking about the broader response to COVID-19. All these kind of things have, I think, changed the world. All right, Neil says he's been to his church. Is that Rodney's church? Yeah, I mean, he's a great guy. As I say, he's come on my stream anytime I've asked him, and we have a great chat. So I'm sure he will be back. Good to see City Troll on the stream, by the way. Lots of you folks I've seen, I see here, which is good to see you. Now, what else have we got? Well, I guess I just wanted to let you know that we will have a YouTube premiere on Wednesday night. So Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Tune in when my special guest, all the way from the US of A, Alana Mercer, returns. I hope you enjoyed her. Sorry, someone says, William Ferguson says, William, I suggest it's Christ's point of view as well. William, I didn't know you had insight into Christ's mind. How very interesting. Alana Mercer will return on the premiere on Wednesday night. Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, you've heard of big tech, yeah? We're going to talk about deep tech. Deep tech. And Alana is really, really interesting. And I hope you enjoyed her when she was on a couple of weeks back. Obviously, with my difficulties with YouTube last week, she couldn't be on, but she will be back. So tune in on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, and we will have a very civilized and hopefully interesting conversation on how deep tech operates, what it means for our governments, our democracies, what it means for freedoms, for liberties, what it means about the things that that we can say and even think. So that's going to be on Wednesday night. So I hope you'll all enjoy that. And yeah, the last thing to say is basically thank you all of you, those of who agree with me and others who may not, for being here tonight. So before I go, just want to give you the final reminder, the final one of the night. Whenever you finish watching this, go below, go to the Odyssey link and click subscribe to my Odyssey channel. In doing so, you will get fresh content, video content every day, which is not going to be available here. I'm not providing content to YouTube on topics which YouTube don't want me to talk about. That's absolutely fine. But other people want to hear them, and other channels are prepared to host them. So I'm really glad, Chris, that you enjoyed Alana. She's really looking forward to being on with me. So Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, and we'll watch that together. So look, that's pretty much it from me for this evening. It's good to be back with you here in YouTube. We have to cut our cloth accordingly, so that's all fine. But yes, Simon, go to Odyssey. Everyone, go to Odyssey. Click there, and you get lots of stuff there. And you'll get me live again with you on Wednesday night. So look, that's it for now. In the meantime, enjoy what remains of your evening. And thanks for being here with me. And we will catch up really soon. Bye from me. Cue music.